Hello, hello, hello. So this is just a test podcast episode. I eventually plan to bring in a full-fledged podcast with like video and stuff. But right now I wanted to do a few test episodes, like two or three of them, so that I know how to manage everything, like uh, the mic arrangement, what I should look like, where to keep the camera and stuff, and also how to speak, because it's a very weird experience sitting alone in a room holding a mic to your face and just talking to no one. Yeah, it's very easy to get into your head, which is happening to me right now. Anyway, I wanted to start this podcast because I realized that I'm only able to talk to to you people once every week using a very small reel, which usually doesn't. I don't think that's enough. That's like 50 seconds a week, which doesn't sound like too much. So I wanted to bring in something that doesn't require as much effort as a full blown YouTube video, but is also I can also do consistently on a weekly basis, and like just have a chat with you guys. Uh, so yeah, that's why I was doing this. I also wanted to move. I also wanted this podcast to be extremely motivational and political, and we're going to discuss religions in this as well. What's really weird to me about podcasts is how every sort of motivational podcast that starts out with good intentions of getting people to go to the gym, or like getting boys to talk to women or something. I I don't know how, but it always fucking turns into a right wing propaganda somehow. I was just looking at Beer Biceps, for example, and he wasn't. I wouldn't say that I ever enjoyed watching him or ever watched him particularly, but I look at clips from his earlier days and it's a little cringe. It's like here's how you can pick up women, or it's just jart content where it's like here's how you can get bicep peaks or something. I don't know. And now he's bringing in like Sai Deepak and that weird history guy and discussing why like Barkhadat should be thrown out of the country. It's like, what happened? How did your motivational thing turn into this? My theory for this is one of the reasons that it works, of course, is that it's where the money is. Like, you can't really get a lot of viewership. You can't get a large viewership if you're coming on your podcast week by week and telling people to take a shower or talk to women or something. Right? You need to stoke the fires that are already existing in the political climate. So I guess that's what Beer Biceps does, and that is working out very well for him. Like, he's making a lot of money out of it. It's just, I don't know, it's so icky. Why would you even bring up right-wing talking points? The other theory I had about this was motivation basically is motivational content basically is around how people can do well in the current sort of economic setup, right? And the current economic setup is inherently right wing, even though we like to think that right wing is this evil side. It's not. It is the default setting, right? And then once you've made enough content telling people how to do well in this default setting, you are going to sort of fall into this weird further right sort of pool where it's just a natural extension of telling people how to make more money, I guess. That's how I see it. It's not a very fully fleshed out theory right now. I'll probably discuss it at some point in the future when I have a better idea of it, and also when I'm not like shitting myself talking to the mic and looking at the time every 2 seconds. So yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to get diagnosed for ADHD lately. If you guys have seen my stories, you might have seen that. So I have been trying that because it's really it was really messing up my job and stuff. I am unable to perform at my job or stay focused on anything that doesn't really interest me, right? And you can't really have that all the time. You can't, jobs aren't interesting most of the time. So I've been unintentionally quitting. That trend in Silicon Valley where people were just barely working so that they don't get fired, but they were also not meeting their goals or anything. So I have been doing that, but unintentionally, because I really there are 8 people in the company that I work at, so you can't really hide behind anything. But then I am also unable to put in the work that's needed. So so sorry, that was a weird tangent. So that's why I was trying to get an ADHD assessment, so that if I knew that I have ADHD or something, I can just take meds maybe, or get therapy for it, whatever. Somehow control it so that I can continue making the stuff that I need to make to keep a job, basically. And it would be really funny to look back at this podcast if I'm fired next month. That would be it would be funny in a very sad way. So yeah, I was trying to get diagnosed, and I went to Practo or whatever, and I found a psychiatrist who specialized in ADHD, and I had a talk with him, and until you experience the mental health infrastructure by yourself, you understand that it's pretty messed up. You understand that it's not where it should be. A lot of people aren't getting the help they should, and everything. But then when you sort of have your first experience with it, I think that's where it sort of really materializes. So I had this chat with the guy, and I don't think he listened at all. He heard anything that I was telling him. So I kept telling my symptoms to the guy, and he was like, okay, you could have ADHD or you could have anxiety disorder, which he was sort of in favor of anxiety disorder for some reason. And so he explained me the symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder, and I was like, no, I have the exact opposite of overthinking. My head is literally blank at times. I could be having, how you often have serious conversations with partners or friends and stuff, and they're like, why aren't you contributing to the conversation? Why are you silent? And in my case, that is because my head is literally empty. There are no thoughts in there. It's just hollow. And that might not come across in the reels or stuff that I put out. And the reason for that is that I have to really concentrate to write that one page of script in time, right? So I put all of my thinking into that one script, and then I'm done for the week. For the rest of the week, I'm just empty in the head. I go through things and they feel bad or whatever, but it never really registers. So I'll just hold on to everything until that moment where I'm writing the script for the week. So that's why it might feel like I'm not head empty, no thoughts, but yeah, that is what happens to me, and that is what I told the psychiatrist guy, and he sort of glossed over that, and and now I have a prescription for anxiety medicine. So that was fun. And then he was like, I'll need to talk to your parents, or you'll need to get like an 8,000 rupee assessment done for ADHD, which was weird. I'm like, I'm not going to pay 8,000 rupees to know that I have ADHD, and then thousands more on therapy. I'll just, for 8,000 rupees, like, do you understand the amount of substances that you can buy for 8,000 rupees? You can cure your ADHD yourself. Like, just just buy enough alcohol for 8,000 rupees. Okay, I'll cut that out probably. That's not good advice. Sorry. Go get assessed if you can afford it. Okay. So yeah, it was a weird experience. And so when I was just about to finish up my college, I was trying to start this company called Canopy, in which, have you seen those Headspace and stuff where it's like guided meditation? So it would, I was trying to create guided CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. So it's not meditation, and I like, we weren't telling people to calm down, close your eyes, or any other like bullshit like that. But instead, we were trying to teach them cognitive behavioral therapy, like the basics of it, so that they could like deal with basic sadness or basic anxiety by themselves without having to afford therapy or anything, right? Because A, people can't afford it, and B, there aren't enough professionals to sort of to refer to. And in hindsight, it wasn't a very good idea, but I think it came from a very very nice place where we realized that there aren't enough. We realized that there, like, people can't afford therapy basically, so there needs to be an alternative solution for it. And that realization for me was based on data and what my professors had told me while I was studying psychology, like, as in my bachelor's. But then now that I actually need stuff, and I am unable to get it, it's like it becomes more real, and it becomes more tangible once you sort of experience it yourself, which is funny. And it's really weird to come to this conclusion where mental illness is one of the class divides somehow, right? Because if you can afford it, or more so if your parents can afford it when you are a kid, you have ADHD. Or if they can't, you're just lazy as a kid and you're unmotivated, which is really weird. So like, if you have the kind of capital to get diagnosed, and sorry, I thought somebody was on the gate. Anyway, if you have enough capital to get diagnosed and then get therapy or something for it, you will even get more empathy from from the people who control your life as a kid, which would be teachers and stuff, right? Because at that point you have an illness that's out of your control. But if you don't have that kind of money, that empathy will also be stolen away from you, which might fuck up a child's development, especially during the early years. I don't know. It's really weird to come across mental illness as a class divide, which it might just be that I'm just too stupid to realize to be coming to that realization at this point. And like, I guess half of you are going, yeah, that's extremely obvious. So I'm sorry to that half of you. You're too smart, or you don't have mental illness, and I have generalized anxiety disorder. So like, stay away. Oh, and yeah, I do have prescription for anxiety pills now. So like the next time the next time I have a party, I'll probably be popular. That's also bad advice. Don't take it. I was just trying to be funny. Like don't sell your anxiety pills in parties. Or do, or I don't know. Like maybe people need it but they can't get an assessment. So like you're actually helping people. So I think you should. I think the moral of this entire thing was that you should be selling more drugs at parties. I don't know how to transition from one topic to another. I had a so this isn't the first time I'm trying to record a podcast. This is I tried to record a podcast I think 2 years ago or something, and I could get to like the 5 minute mark, after which it was too creepy to be sitting alone in a room and talking to a mic. And to make sure that that doesn't happen this time, I made a list of sort of topics that I could talk about, so that it was so it at least made some. I had some structure to go off of, right? So now I have just exhausted one of the topics, and I have to go to the next topic. And I don't know. I don't know how to do that, but I get DMs from people who ask me how to be a good writer, right? And here's the thing. I don't know. Here's what I've been thinking about a lot lately, especially because I have been called a writer by a few people. It's like, at what point do you start calling yourself a writer? Because I don't think I can comfortably call myself a writer. I don't know. For me, like in my head, you are a writer once you've written a book or something, and then that book has done really well, either critically or commercially. Not even commercially. Like, because I have met commercial writers who are just ass. So like it has done critically well. So I don't know, how do you like, if you are listening to this and you manage to call yourself a writer, and you don't want to pull your skin out while doing it, like how do you do it? Like, at what point of your life did you realize that, okay, I have achieved enough sort of in the field of writing that I can now call myself a writer? Like, when do you hit that point? Because I don't know. I haven't hit that point yet. I don't think I will ever. Like, if I even ever write a book or something, I'll be too embarrassed to call myself a writer. So yeah, there's that, and it ties into this larger problem of this impending, like, not, why would I say impending, of this constant background, like, imposter syndrome that I've had ever since I started getting some sort of traction on Instagram. I don't know why I'm going like into personal topics in this, because while I was starting this podcast, I was thinking of podcasts like Insanely Chill from with Codico, or like Pay Pigs with Ben and Emil, and I don't know. I don't want to go deep into stuff. This isn't how I usually talk, but anyway, I'll just do it for this one test episode, and for the next one I'll talk about like shit and piss or something. Anyway, so I'll stop reflecting. Have I taken enough yet? Anyway, so yeah, it ties into this larger conversation about this constant background imposter syndrome that I've had ever since I started getting popular on Instagram, basically, which is like, I see people following me who write incredibly, right? Or who have really great photography or stuff like that. And at some point, you begin to wonder, when do you stop being this guy who's just putting out like cute videos on Instagram, and when do you step into the territory of being an influencer? Because I think at that point you should just stop and like pack things up, go home. Because once you become an influencer, you're not making art at that point. You're just getting clicks, right? And I am constantly worried about not falling over that line. Like I do want more people to get to see my work, and I do want money out of my work. Like I want to make money doing making content, and not not have it be this thing that I do in a rush every Saturday, right? But then it also, like, I would also like hate to become an influencer, uh, because I think at that point I I would have lost what made me get some traction initially, at least. So yeah, it's a weird sort of internal monologue that I have been having for a few months now, and I hope that it goes away with time, because I mean, if it doesn't, it would be really tough to make other content, especially. So yeah, yeah, I'll talk about shit and piss in the next podcast. This is the this has to be the most this is about how heartfelt I want it to be. I don't want to go any deeper into into my own head. Uh, yeah, I've been getting a lot of requests from people to explain how I make my videos as well. So I guess in the next one I can also do that. I can just uh, talk about the process that I do, that I do have for making all of these, and it's shaping up into more of a process. For the longest time, when I would get requests like that, I had nothing to tell people, because I would just like do a stream of consciousness writing, and then I would uh, just shoot whatever came to my mind and then like put it out. But I think now it is shaping into somewhat of a process, so I'll be able to explain that. So I'll probably do that in the next one as well. So like look forward to that. I guess. And also, one of the things that happened due to having no process was, I would often put in things in my videos that would come across as symbolism, uh, like that would symbolize something for people, and they would try to sort of figure out if I was intentionally symbolizing something by using a particular shot or something. And I kind of shot myself in the foot, because I made it very clear that I wasn't thinking those through. It was just accidental symbolism, and like it didn't really mean a lot. And now that I have actually started putting more thought into stuff, and like I'm actually symbolizing, like I'm actually using symbols or uh, personifying. Okay, I lost my recorder died. I'm not sure if I'm not sure how long I can keep it. So I guess I was saying that now that I'm actually using personification and personifying, like now that I'm actually using symbolism and personifying drugs or emotion states and stuff, people don't do that anymore. Like people aren't looking at the symbolism. So I guess that was kind of my fault for like shooting myself in the foot at a little bit. I don't know. Okay, one of the learnings from this test podcast is to not let my recorder die, because I think about 20 minutes after about 20 minutes of recording something, I can manage to get into a flow state of talking, and that's about when the recorder died. So like we back to ground zero. Anyway, I think this has gone on for too long. I didn't. Oh, wow, now it isn't time. Okay, it wasn't working at all earlier. If I get cut off, it's because my recorder died and I don't have the time to go buy new batteries because I'm doing this on company time. But yeah, I was saying that I don't want these to be too long, like 30 minutes max, at least for the test episodes. And then eventually I want to bring in some guests that I think you like other creators on Instagram or bands and musicians and stuff. So I'll do that eventually, at least once a month. I'll bring in some guests, and other than that, I'll just do what I did, but do what I did in this test episode, but like hopefully better and with less pauses and stuff. And I'll also probably learn how to transition into a different topic. So if you've somehow managed to stick around till this point, thank you. I love you. I'll send you some feed pics. Just DM me. And yeah, I'll go try not to get fired again. Yeah, bye.